Yo, what's up, everybody? What is poppin', boys and girls? Welcome, 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 welcome. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here live, WrestleBros After Dark. This is your boy, Captain Lou here. We're just here, just talking, man. You know, just finished watching some AEW Dynamite and some NXT. Boy, oh boy, what? How great of a show did we get tonight, huh? We got ourselves two big shows here tonight from our competitors on both sides of the panel. What I'm actually looking to see here is just wanting to talk about it, have a live conversation, guys. As you start trickling into the stream, just start asking questions, man. This is a conversation. We want to be able to have it. So you guys know where to find us. We are on Instagram, on Twitter at the WrestleBros, here on YouTube, the Space WrestleBros. You can find all of our videos, and you can have our streams, our videos, our libraries. All the content is there. We've been doing this show now for about a year, and we're very grateful to have all of you guys here with us. Just to start off, the big angle tonight on AEW Dynamite. Big angle, the inner circle bids MJF farewell, adieu. However, big time issues that came up. What ended up happening? We had ourselves huge news in terms of having now another faction. That's right, another faction in AEW. But this faction actually looks kind of badass on paper. You got MJF, Wardlow, Tully Blanchard, FTR, Sean Spears. Not bad, I have to admit. Not sure how I feel about the inner circle being turned babyface though, but I'm not sure. Not sure what to think about it right now. I'm actually a little bit in the position of saying that this might be something that hopefully, maybe, possibly could be on the good side or on the bad side. That just depends upon how people feel about it. Me personally, I was a little shocked to see what went down. I'd figured that the inner circle would have stayed heels and they were ostensibly turned babyface. I just think that again with AEW, it's just a matter that they have too many factions. I think that this faction with MJF on paper seems by far the strongest and the best. It's just a matter that it would have been nice if they didn't have so many of them so that they can stand out a little bit more. But that's just really all the deal is in terms of that particular conversation with AEW and the inner circle and this new faction now formed by MJF. Let us know what you think. Another big angle tonight on AEW. Right now, what we have, excuse me, we have a situation here where Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston cut themselves a fantastic promo trying to explain, and God bless them, trying to explain that horrible ending that happened last Sunday night at the Revolution pay-per-view. And listen, to AEW's credit, they're trying to explain it. There really is no way to explain it except that it was horrible. Let it be and move on. But on the other side of that, you have Kingston and Moxley are now essentially forming a tag team against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And it seemed like, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, along with Don Callis, basically stepped on the time of Christian Cage tonight. And ultimately, it appears now that Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega is going to be a thing. I have to admit, I like the idea of them wrestling, just not now. I think it's way too soon. When I take a look at Christian Cage, he just arrived in AEW, and they're putting him to work essentially against the world champion. Not in love with that idea. It almost comes across like as the world champion, if Christian just walked through the door and now he's going to work against the top guy in AEW because Kenny's the champion, it basically screams TNA, TNA, TNA. It would be nice to have Christian work against somebody else. It's just a matter that we don't know who. So I'll give it a shot. I'll be fair and see what happens there. But ultimately, I don't think that that's a good thing for Christian Cage, only because as I've said, anywhere else when you show up to a new territory or promotion and you work against the world's champion first, there's only one place for you to go, and that's down. So there's not enough of a build there for Christian. They're just putting him in there against Kenny to start off. To veer off just slightly, to stay within the AEW universe, but not really. Last night, Tuesday night, on Impact Wrestling, we had the big announcement this coming Saturday night at their pay-per-view Sacrifice. It's coming up this Saturday night. The main event is going to be Rich Swann defending the Impact World title against Moose, who has been the self-proclaimed TNA champion, and it's going to be title for title. All the gold is on the line. The caveat that was announced was that on April 24th, Impact Wrestling is going to have a pay-per-view. I believe it is called Rebellion, but don't quote me on that. I may be a little off on that. And the match is going to be the winner of that bout is going to wrestle against the AEW World Champion, who as of today is Kenny Omega. When I saw this, I've been looking at different wrestling forums, and what I've been hearing is about excuse me, how great this is going to be. Meaning that we're going to have a situation where now, we're going to have the Impact World Champion versus the AEW champion, and people are already commenting that, hey, once Omega becomes the Impact champion, then it's going after Kota Ibushi in the New Japan IWGP World title. And I keep thinking is like, if AEW wants to turn Kenny Omega into the Thanos of professional wrestling, okay, let's see what goes through there. Like I said, I so want to like Rich Swann, but I think in this match I'm really hoping that Moose goes over. Because I think that with Moose he's probably stands more of a challenge. I think if Rich Swann was to win, no disrespect meant to him, but it will come across as if a match between Rich Swann and Kenny Omega almost presupposes that we know who's going to go over in the very beginning, versus I think that with Moose there leads a little bit more doubt as to who will win, who will go over. I know that I see a few people getting on the video here. By all means, please send questions, please send comments. I'd like for this to be a conversation, not just a monologue. So, if anybody wants to chime in, please do by all means. I'll be here probably for about at the very least, probably for the next, 15 or 20 minutes. If the conversation gets good, I'll stay here longer. I mean, I've kind of programmed myself for an hour, but it depends on how the conversation goes. So that kind of leads there with Impact Wrestling this Saturday night. With their big pay-per-view Sacrifice. Now, going to the other channel, let's go to NXT. Probably the big ticket item, obviously, of the night was seeing Kyle O'Reilly's return in a very, very good NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Adam Cole. When those two guys get in the ring, you're never going to be disappointed in terms of technical skill and match quality. You're not going to get shortchanged there. Sometimes I could say I could watch those guys wrestle for an entire hour and the match will be too short. O'Reilly came. He immediately felt this presence when he came. He stopped Adam Cole dead in his tracks. When Balor saw him, Balor paused as well. I'm not too sure if I'm in love with the biker look on Kyle O'Reilly, but I have to admit, with the clothes that he had on tonight, he looked a lot bigger. He looked he looked like with a much better build with the clothes on. He looked much bigger. So that was good. O'Reilly, great great fire. Man, did he beat the holy hell out of Adam Cole. Just beat him down, and everything that he did, his fire was so believable. You know, when he was beating down on Adam Cole and he was giving him the potty mouth, literally giving him the potty mouth, he was cussing. Uh, it was great fire. It was great fire out of Kyle O'Reilly. Did a fantastic job. And then at the end, when you see Finn Balor standing in the ring all alone, if we know NXT, we know that something's coming. Karrion Kross takes a look over. Next challenger. My thought to that is perfect. Perfect. It's about time. If this might be the end for Balor in NXT, maybe. But if it is, it'll be excellent to put the belt back on Kross. Kross, you know, obviously he won the title last summer from Keith Lee, and he was NXT champion for all but, 72 hours because he had to hand the title over. So realistically, this might be a great opportunity. And with all due respect to Keith Lee, because he's a great talent, in and of himself, but I think that Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor will probably be a better match because I think that it can feature it can feature Karrion Kross's strengths a lot more because Balor is very over. He's an excellent talent, and I think that he'll be able to believably put pressure on Kross, but will also be able to help him get all of his stuff over in a very, very unique and powerful way. So I'm very much convinced that that match would be very good. On NXT, another big ticket item tonight on NXT. This I was not very happy about. This I thought was actually, quite frankly, unacceptable. To be very, very honest with you, very unacceptable. So William Regal goes and makes an announcement about NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I'm not in love with the concept of WWE having another set of women's tag team champions, considering that the women's tag team champions that they currently have before tonight, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, that was the only championship where the champions are allowed to defend the championships on all three brands. They can defend on Raw, they can defend on SmackDown, they can defend on NXT. And yet, they don't do a good enough job in getting those belts over because they don't have enough established teams. In the aftermath of what happened last week, where Jax and Baszler essentially stole the match from Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, I thought two things. Initially, number one is that WWE had essentially turned Raquel and Dakota into baby faces. Number two is that they would be able to, WWE would be able to possibly have a rematch for the women's tag team championships at WrestleMania. Pick a night, night one, night two, it doesn't matter. They can be able to have a match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax in a situation where then Dakota and Raquel would win the tag team titles as baby faces and then be able to essentially, go across all three brands, cross-pollinate across all three brands, and be able to get over much better because now they're working against all the different women across the WWE's roster. Unfortunately, they create the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Mr. William Regal essentially gives the titles, awards the titles to Raquel and Dakota, with the caveat that they have to defend the titles against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. Now, this is a rematch from the finals of the Dusty Cup. the Women's Dusty Cup. This is a rematch from that. And the baby faces, meaning Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, went over. They beat Dakota Kai, and now they're the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Essentially, we've had 2 Women's Tag Team Champions crowned in the span of an hour and 15 minutes. No bueno. Poor. Not good. Not good at all. I understand that WWE covered it up later on when Raquel and Dakota were being interviewed, and then the champion, the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai, after having successfully defended the title against Toni Storm in a good match, steps up to Raquel and the champion challenges the challenger because she wants Raquel next. This is too soon. This is way too soon. Raquel Gonzalez has been on a tremendous hot streak over the last several months on NXT. She's been nothing short of fantastic. She's worked incredibly hard to change her physique, to change her look, to develop presence, and she has it. She's an attractive woman. She's got excellent presence. Her size is incredible because of the fact that no one on the NXT roster or no one on the WWE Women's roster, probably with the exception of Nia Jax, is bigger than her. Raquel has done an excellent job of getting over. However, I don't believe that having her in an NXT title match against Io Shirai, although this has been teased, because in the War Games NXT show that happened, back in November, Raquel beat Io Shirai in the Women's War Games match. So you're thinking, hey, it's 5 months later. But the thing is that Io should have probably been working in a different angle. Again, I think that Raquel is going to probably be the person to ultimately beat her, but I'm not sure if this is the right moment for that to happen. Not sure. So, do me a favor, guys. If anybody's in the chat room, go ahead, send us some messages. Let us know what's going on, man. I'd like to hear from you. To keep the conversation going. But there's a whole lot going on. Let's go back here to AEW. 6-woman tag team match. So on one side you have Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. On the opposite side of the ring you have Nyla Rose, Maki Ito, and Dr. Britt Baker, along with Vicky Guerrero and Rebel, better known as Reba. This is a perfect example of a match where you have really good intentions going in, and there's a lack of communication, and in the ring at a certain point in the match just became a mess. Spots were being, not that the spots are being blown, but the spots are being very much telegraphed. Lack of communication. You could clearly tell that with Mizunami, even communicating with Shida, it just felt like there was some communication issues when they were doing offensive moves to Britt Baker. Mizunami did like a cannonball type thing in the corner. She completely missed. She basically took a bump into nothing. The spot that I hate, that spot where the person goes up on the top rope. In this case, it was Thunder Rosa. and she dives on top of everybody, and everybody falls down, like dominoes. That's just a silly spot. We need to stop doing that. That's way too telegraphed. We need to kill that immediately. After the match is over, uh, Thunder Rosa gets beat up by Dr. Britt Baker. So we have Vicky Guerrero and Rebel with Britt Baker beating up Thunder Rosa. So I'm thinking to myself, what exactly is the point to have Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa? I get it. They've been telling that story, AEW has, for a while, so I get it. Vicky Guerrero, listen, this is not meant as any disrespect to Vicky Guerrero, but at this particular point, we don't need her doing anything physical in the ring. She looks completely uncomfortable doing anything physical in the ring. It's like a fish out of water. Just even like grabbing the foot, doing what she did to Thunder Rosa, where she was literally slapping her leg when Britt Baker had her in the lockjaw submission. These are all things that, in all frankness, we don't need them. We just don't. I wish that there can be a situation where, in a perfect world, all 6 of these women could be over, but in this particular scenario, they're not. Maki Ito was okay, no big deal there. She didn't really stand out much to me. Mizunami, had good offense, but this match was not about her. It was not about Shida. This match was essentially a match to try to feature all 6 women, but in the end, we knew that the story was going to be Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Next week, they're going to main event Dynamite. Congratulations to them. It's to have the women for the first time main event Dynamite. However, the lights out anything goes match, really? Really? Has it gotten to that point? Has it really gotten to that point between these 2 women that you need to have that match? With all due respect, I can see Thunder Rosa wanting to have that match, but Britt Baker, with all due respect, and Britt Baker has been nothing short of phenomenal. She's been really, really good for AEW. But I don't think that this particular match is the match they need to have. We got to stop falling in love in AEW. We got to stop falling in love with the stipulation matches and the gimmick matches. We can simply have a match. A match. Build to that. No good. Again, congratulations to Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker for being the first women to main event an AEW show. They're going to main event Dynamite next week. Congratulations. That's awesome, and that's wonderful news. However, the stipulation that they're going to be working in, no. Just no. Big news out of the WWE today, just before I forget. Molly Holly, the first inductee into the 2021 WWE Hall of Fame. It is a very, very well-deserved honor for Miss Molly Holly. I think that Molly is, Nora Greenwald, Molly Holly, is one of it. She's one of the standout talents in recent wrestling history in women's pro wrestling. Molly Holly, when the first time that I saw her was back in the late 90s in WCW, where she was known as Miss Madness. She was one of the valets for Randy Macho Man Savage, along with Medusa and Gorgeous George. And she would come out every week in a dress and just look like a beauty queen. Never wrestled once. I think that she may have done a very few physical things when she was in WCW, but when she showed up in the WWE, I believe this is in 2001-ish, give or take, she quickly showed what an excellent in-ring talent she is. And she's one of the more universally liked she's one of the more universally liked people in professional wrestling. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything negative about her. Um, you couldn't ask for a more deserving honoree, and to be the first one is wonderful. I think that it's a well-deserved honor. I think that it's going to be universally praised. And in all honesty, unless Nora Greenwald does not want to work full time in pro wrestling anymore, I think the WWE should really consider bringing her in as some kind of a coach or trainer for the NXT system. Because I mean, the NXT women are and WWE in general, like their women's roster is probably the best women's roster I've probably ever seen, top to bottom. Obviously there are levels, different levels up and down, but they're just so good. And I think that adding Molly Holly into that mix, even if she doesn't want to wrestle anymore, but as a coach, as a trainer, she'd be fantastic. So congratulations to her. I'm very, very happy to see that she is now due to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I believe this is on April the 6th. I think it's going to be on a Tuesday night. It's going to be on Peacock here in the United States of America. So for those folks here in the United States that have WWE Network, you may want to consider getting your subscription to Peacock, because by the time WrestleMania week comes around, WWE Network may not be around for us to watch. So just to give you guys a heads up. Another note coming out of NXT tonight is going to be the impending return of Jordan Devlin coming out of England. The Irishman from the UK coming in, and he was the cruiserweight champion. He is the legit cruiserweight champion, and he's on his way back to the United States. Thank goodness we're going to have an opportunity to see him back in the ring. And I liked what I saw with Santos Escobar when he got hot about the whole idea, the whole premise of seeing Jordan Devlin back next week coming to the United States and on his way back to NXT. So I'm interested in seeing what happens there, because I honestly think at this particular point that it's time. Hey, what's up, Giovanni? How you doing, my brother? That it's going to be time for the WWE to move Santos Escobar on from being the cruiserweight champion. I think that he is a fantastic talent, and I don't think he needs to be the cruiserweight champion anymore. Gio, I know I see you here on the line, my brother. Let me know if you saw the wrestling shows tonight. If you saw anything this week, let me know what's up. I'd like to hear your comments. The big thing. Some news and notes. You saw AEW. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought about AEW. That big angle in the end. That'd be kind of cool. We can have a conversation there. I think here that what we have here in terms of with Jordan Devlin, that's going to be awesome stuff, and I'm looking forward to see what happens with him when he comes back. I think that it's time for Escobar to be moved on and not wrestle as the cruiserweight champion anymore. If anybody else is in the chat room, man, please bring in. I'll probably be on here for another few minutes. We're just talking shop here, man. Let's see here. Giovanni says it was cool, other than the Ethan Page match. He says Ethan Carter, but it's Ethan Page. Oh yeah. Oh God, yes. That audio. Listen, I was watching. If the way that I watch these shows tonight is that I actually have in my workspace here that I actually have two monitors. So I basically put both shows side by side. I had WWE on one show and AEW on the other. And when I saw the match with Ethan Page against Lee Johnson, I remember that I was I just kept thinking to myself, like, what is up with this audio? So, oh, you were thinking EC3. Well, you know what? I mean, EC3 is in fantastic shape, Gio. But he's working in Ring of Honor right now. I'm looking forward to that match that EC3 will have in Ring of Honor coming up very soon against Jay Briscoe. I think that's gonna be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. But that match with Ethan Page and Lee Johnson got totally messed up. All I kept hearing was, cheerleaders, horns, basketball, and I was like, what am I listening to? Like it felt like I'm watching AEW, but I felt like the NBA was dubbed over it. Oh wow, damn, Gio. Well, you know what, brother. Um, Listen, I'm really sorry, man, about your COVID diagnosis, man. So stay strong, my brother. Stay strong, man. Because I'll tell you, man, we'll be able to get through this, and I'll have you in my prayers, my brother. Believe me. But believe me, hang in there, man. Hang in there. You'll make it through, my brother. You'll make it through. Um, but I'll tell you, that was a big hiccup in the show tonight with AEW. I actually cleared out my stream and started, and logged back in thinking that it might have been something wrong with my machine. Um, so you're all right. So you like the Christian Cage and Omega angle? I mean, I spoke about it earlier, Gio. So I'll ask you this question, and you can type in an answer here real quick. So what the opinion that I had here with the Christian Cage and Omega angle, even though it does seem cool on paper, I wasn't really in love with it. Only because I thought that the angle puts Christian in a bit of a tight in a bit of a bad position, because if you just come into a new company and you start working against the world champion, if you don't win the title, there's only one place for you to go. And that's down. Let me know what you think about that, man. If there's anybody else who wants to join the chat, by all means, please reach out to us. We're here at Instagram and Twitter. We're at the WrestleBros, TheWrestleBros, and we are here also on YouTube at the space WrestleBros, WrestleBros. Say that really fast. Yep, he did the same thing in TNA. He won the world title around the time he debuted. Okay. The thing about it is, I'm not sure if Christian is going to be the champion this time, because right now it appears like the storyline with Impact Wrestling, now that we're going to be seeing Moose and and Rich Swann, they're going to be competing title for title this coming weekend on Sacrifice pay-per-view. It appears that the winner of that match is going to be taking on Kenny Omega in April, presuming that Omega is still the world champion. But right now it looks like the angle that's being positioned is, as like I said earlier, it almost seems like they, meaning AEW, is trying to position Kenny Omega as the Thanos of professional wrestling, meaning, he's just going after all the Infinity Stones, and, AEW, Impact Wrestling, IWGP, Lord only knows. I'm not sure if they're going to get to work with Ring of Honor. I'm not sure if there's any hard feelings there. If he's going to go after the NWA title, so they're going to want to turn him into the Thanos of pro wrestling, where he's going to be the world champion of every promotion except the WWE. That's something that's going to be, that's going to be something interesting to see. Now, for anybody who's in the chat room, did you guys get to watch the AEW show? I mean, I know that the AEW show on Sunday night, I know that that we covered it in full length. I know, Gio, you were with us. Did you get to watch anything else? Did you get to watch Raw or NXT by any chance? Just to have content, and also, just to be, I'd like to be able to ask this question, right, in the chat room. I know that after, okay, so you didn't watch Raw. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Don't feel bad about it. At the presser that was held on Sunday night after the AEW Revolution pay-per-view came off the air, Tony Khan uh, basically made a statement, wanting to, yeah, Apollo Crews on Smackdown. He's doing great work, man. I'm really digging his work. With Tony Khan, when he was talking about, you know, the whole idea of the explosion when it basically was a dud. He's trying to put the heat on Omega. I wasn't. I get what they were trying to do. Don't get me wrong. I get what they were trying to do. I get that they were trying to be um, somewhat old school in terms of the promotion being the babyface and putting the heat on the heel. I'm a little. I'm a little uh, upset. I guess is the right word. I wasn't digging the fact that these guys were trying to essentially create an angle out of this. Um, in a situation at that particular moment, because this particular moment was not, excuse me, not part of the show. This was just more like the pressers and stuff. And I've seen in the past where AEW has come, has been very frank and forthright in press conferences after shows about things that may have gone wrong during the show, and they just they break kayfabe, and then they go ahead and they spill the beans. They tell you what goes on. In this particular case, it seemed like Tony Khan was trying to keep this going as a bit of an angle. And I just I thought to myself, wouldn't it have been better for AEW at that point to just say, hey, listen, this was bad. We screwed up. We apologize. We won't do this again. Would it have been better for them, for Tony Khan in that situation? Where's Vic? Unfortunately, he had to, he had another engagement tonight, so he wasn't able to join us here tonight. So, shout out to my boy Vic Blaze, man. I know that he and I are in contact. When we're gonna do these live streams. Right now, I'd like to be able to kind of do this on a more regular basis, to go live, and it's more a matter so that we can be able to engage as an audience. But we will definitely continue doing our recorded versions of the WrestleBros podcast, because it's something that Vic and I can schedule, and everything is usually a little more organized that way. But from time to time, I'd like to be able to go live, after big events, or if any major news breaks out. I'd like to be able to come on and be able to speak with you guys, because I think that this is a great way to engage, and I really enjoy these back and forth conversations. I think this is super cool, and I'm a big fan. I really enjoy this conversation. So right now, I'm going to probably be here for another couple of minutes. Yeah, man. Thanks, Gio. And listen, if you know of anybody who's interested, man, please spread the love. I mean, right now, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to continue growing the brand, grow the podcast. We love pro wrestling. This is what we do. Vic and I, and we have other friends that come along, and we really enjoy professional wrestling. We really dig talking to you guys about it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a community. This is a growing community, and I'm very happy to be here with all of you guys as often as we can get together. So, if it's once a week, twice a week, however we can work this out. I'd love to be able to have these engagements and these conversations with you guys, because I want to be able to get y'all's opinions. I have my opinion, and that's awesome, but I'd love to be able to have discussions, because in all honesty, man, the discussions are awesome. This is what I like to do, and be able to talk to y'all. All right, Gio. So it's like you've watched pro wrestling all your life. You're not an expert, but you like coming on. You know what? I appreciate that, Gio. I don't consider myself an expert at all. I consider myself just just a regular dude. I'm just a fan, just like you. I try to watch the matches, with a little more scrutiny. I like to be able to critique the matches from a fan's perspective, just because I've watched a lot of wrestling in my life from many different places all around the world. So I've had the experience of being able to see different wrestling from different promotions, different styles, how and over the years, I've gotten the opportunity to listen to the people that created it, the wrestlers, the promoters, the bookers, get a chance to really listen to their points of view, and how essentially how the meal is made, how it's done, and it helps me because then when I watch the shows, I can kind of watch it with a little more keen eye for things that need to be, that I would like to think can be better because I watch it on both sides. Have I ever met any professional wrestlers? Yes, I have. The person who I've met most recently was Ric Flair. I know that I've had the opportunity to meet The Miz at one time. Uh, Trish Stratus. Let's see who else. Those are the three that come to mind. If I remember anybody else, I'll let you know. But those are the three that. I've met Low Key as well. I've met MVP. Um, let's see. Sting, Kurt Angle. Let's see. And then I'm drawing a. I know. When I went to a New Japan show, I got a chance to do a photo op with Tiger Mask and Jushin Liger. Any bad experience, meaning bad experiences with professional wrestlers meeting them? No, no. Listen, professional wrestlers for the most part, they're just regular people. The one thing about it is that all the wrestlers that I've met, with the exception of the Miz, because I did meet the Miz in the street, and this was in New York. Me and my buddies, we were going to a wrestling match at Madison Square Garden, and it just so happened that when we were going into the building, the Miz was as well. So we just kind of ran into each other in the street. But other than that, all the other wrestlers that we met have been, in autograph signings and organized events. So I'm certainly not catching anybody in a bad pinch. Funny, this is actually a funny story. Years ago, this is in 2008. I traveled to Orlando, Florida to go see WrestleMania live. And I remember when I landed in the airport, my brother came to pick me up, and we went to a restaurant. I believe it was either a Denny's or not a Denny's, like an Applebee's or something to that extent. And I know that I saw a woman, a blonde woman, sitting behind me, and she was pretty jacked, but I couldn't see her. She was wearing a WrestleMania sweater. So I just thought to myself, it was like, oh, all right, who's this woman here, dressed in the WrestleMania sweater. So I'm going about my business. I'm having my dinner, and then the people leave, and it was actually Beth Phoenix sitting behind me. Beth Phoenix was sitting behind me with one of with a couple of the referees from WWE. I just didn't realize it, and then I saw on the table across, probably like 2 or 3 tables across to my left, was Justin Roberts with. I know that he was, I believe, with Mike Chioda and with maybe a couple of the ring crew people, because I didn't recognize them, but I recognized Justin Roberts. I recognized Chioda. So yes, yeah, with Beth Phoenix. So, and the thing is with Beth Phoenix, she was as nice as can be. I asked her for a picture. She was totally cool, totally nice. Sweet as can be, very, very nice. So it's a matter of all those different experiences, and just being able to engage. But again, for people, if you watch our videos, at times I can come across as being very critical when I'm critiquing and I want to critique something and get into it. I can critique it, and people might think that I'm being a little stiff or stern, particularly around AEW. I mean, I've done it with the WWE as well, so they're not immune from it. Well, no, well, now, Gio, I think that on Sunday you told me, remind me where you're from again. If I'm not mistaken, I think you told me, if I remember right, you're either from California or from Canada. So I just wanted to double check, because if you're from Saskatoon, Canada, I can kind of understand why. But if I know in California, I know WWE California. All right. So yeah, WWE, I'm sure they run a lot of events there. Now, you're in Northern California or Southern California? Because that'd be good. That'd be good to know. Because I mean, like I said, I've been out to California. The furthest I've gotten to was Sacramento. I didn't get any. I went to the Donner Pass out there, and then I've been to a few house shows. No, North Cali. So I'm presuming from the Bay Area probably. Um, San Fran, Oakland, that area around there. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. If there's any questions, if you guys have any other questions, by all means, please drop them up. Right now, I'm at 45 minutes in. I'll probably stay here for another 15. Call it an hour. But definitely, you know what, guys? I just, again, want to remind you guys we're here, at the WrestleBros. Instagram and Twitter, we are at the WrestleBros, TheWrestleBros. And then we're here on YouTube at the WrestleBros, THE space WrestleBros, at the WrestleBros, because we want to be able to do this. And the idea would be is that as often as possible. I know that I'm not going to guarantee this because I don't know how I can hold up this schedule, but the idea would be is that I'd like to be able to go live at least once a week. Possibly Wednesday nights might be a good day to do it, only because I know that there's a lot of wrestling going on. But here's another question for the panel here, real quick. How do you guys feel about the possibility of NXT moving out of Wednesday nights? Right now, it appears that might be the case. Pretty soon, WWE might be forced to move NXT out of Wednesday nights and move to Tuesdays due to the NBC Sports Network closing down. They're going to be shutting down that particular channel, and NHL hockey is going to, that airs nationally on Wednesday nights on NBC Sports Network, will probably be moving over to the USA Network. Yeah. I mean, right now Gio, that looks like it's going to be moving in that direction right now. It's weird as I've thought about it. I can understand that it's a business move by NBC to move NXT out of Wednesday nights. Yeah. Well, you know what, Gio, you might be right. AEW views may skyrocket. The question becomes and I'll pose it to the panel. Do you think that AEW would be able to sustain a million viewers if they were to be unopposed on Wednesday nights? Vic and I did a video about this probably 2 weeks ago, and my take on it is that if NXT was to move out of Wednesday nights, that AEW would immediately benefit from it. And I believed, and I still do, that AEW would start off and have at least 1 million viewers right off the bat in the United States immediately. My concern would be is that I don't know if they'll be able to sustain it in the long haul. NXT moving to any night of the week, let's just presume they move to Tuesdays, they'll probably take a hit in the beginning, only because of the fact that since they're the show that's moving days, there's always going to be a slight decrease in audience, while and again, wrestling fans know when a show moves, especially a WWE show, if it moves, date, time, network, wherever it goes, the fans will follow it. My position has been is that NXT will lose a little bit in the beginning, but as time goes on, if they're unopposed, they will eventually get to 1 million viewers plus every week. It'll take them probably 6 months to a year to get there. But once they get there, they'll stay there. And so you believe, okay, so Gio, your answer yes is that you think that that they'll be able to, AEW will be able to sustain 1 million plus viewers every week. Listen, I sure hope so. I think the angle that they pulled tonight with MJF, FTR, Spears, Wardlow, and Tully Blanchard basically creating another faction. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, listen, I hope so. I hope that AEW can sustain that viewership. It'll be a positive thing for them and positive thing for everybody. I really do hope so. Again, I could be very critical of AEW's booking because it's not exactly my flavor, but at the same time, it's never It's never an endorsement on my part wanting AEW to not be around. That's certainly not the case. I want AEW to succeed because I think that the more successful, the more successful that any promotion can be, and the more eyeballs can be put on professional wrestling in a positive light, more people can work, more people can be featured, more people can feed their families. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's all about. But since this is since what Vic and I do is debate, and we're looking at, we're doing analysis, we're looking, we're critiquing the shows. If I see something I don't like, then I gotta let people know. So I never want people to think that I'm being disrespectful or like jabbing the wrestlers. That's certainly not what I'm trying to do. It's just a matter that the critiques are there to kind of say, hey, for particularly for AEW, who has been, at least for me, it always seemed like AEW has been trying very hard to cater to their loyal fan base, not understanding that there's a much larger audience. It's always you honor the audience that brought you to the dance, but you have to understand intrinsically that that audience is already there. That audience supports you, that audience wants you to succeed, and that audience will come back every week. What you need to be able to do is, give them enough of what they love and honor them in that degree, but at the same time, you have to grow your audience because, I've said this before, WWE's creative recently in recent history over the last, let's just say the last 5 years, and I'm being conservative when I say that because I could probably make an argument for the last decade. Their creative has actually been very, very bad for the most part. If there was ever a time for a promotion to be able to show up and strike a chord and be fantastic, it's right now. And I think that with AEW, if they go unopposed, they might be able to relax certain things. They can tell the stories, make everything, slow things down, not more so than they already have, but I mean, try to expand your audience, make the show a little broader, not necessarily the people that are the most avid aficionados of independent wrestling. I'm not one of those people. So when I watch AEW and I watch a lot of that, it's very indie wrestling centered. And sometimes for me, that's a big turnoff because a lot of the things that are done in independent wrestling don't calculate very well to a national audience. Not that the matches can't be cool or exciting or that they do, cool spots or cool things. It's a matter that the matches and the angles don't seem to work for a national audience. So now, moving on, it appears now that WrestleMania is going to be selling tickets going on sale next week. I believe tickets are going on sale for WrestleMania at the end of this week. So right now, Raymond James Stadium seats roughly about 85-ish, 90,000-ish, probably for a wrestling event for WrestleMania. Could have probably gotten to maybe 100,000, but I'm not sure what the seating capacity is going to be, but let's just say we're talking, I'll go the conservative route. Let's say 15%, 20%. It'll be nice to be in a venue where you have the possibility of getting, the equivalent of 10,000, somewhere between 10 to 15,000 people. That's going to be a huge, huge pickup for the WWE. And, hopefully for WrestleMania that it's going to be an event that's going to make money. It'll be a big money drawing event for them. Yes. Yeah, you're right, Gio. It is. It's actually, I believe it might be the same logo from last year. It might be slightly different. Yeah, for the purposes of this, but I think that it's going to be cool for the fact that WWE can get WrestleMania and have people there, live people there. I know AEW has had live audience out in Jacksonville and Daly's Place. I think that on Sunday night they had the largest audience I think they've had in a while. I think they had somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,200, 1,300 people there at Daly's Place. I think that Daly's Place seats probably roughly 5,000 or 6,000. Okay. So, all right, Gio. So, real quick here in the last, 5 minutes that we got. All right. So you're saying that you're not a big fan of the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Why is that? Why is that? I'd like to be able to know that. Um, because I know that Vic and I we've discussed in the past about how maybe WrestleMania might benefit from being a 2 night event. Just because I know that WrestleMania in the last few years have been shows that have started, and I kid you not, they start at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they run until Jesus 1:30 in the morning. It just feels like a never ending show. And by the end of the show, it doesn't matter who the main event is. It could be the greatest main event heat match in the world. By that time, you're so tired, you probably just want to go to sleep. It has, excuse me, and that has nothing to do with, okay, so you say because it feels like two separate events rather than, okay, all right. So I guess here, and I'm okay. I'm okay with your response. I actually think that I've made that argument too. I'm of the ilk that I think that WrestleMania could be a 2 night event. The only problem that I have is that I'm not sure if WWE could be able to sell out those big football stadiums 2 nights in a row. Um, Also, the timing for two pay-per-views in a row is hard to make time. Okay, okay, and that's totally fair, and I get that. One of our panelists, Giovanni, shout out to him. He's been saying that it's difficult. He doesn't like the idea of WrestleMania being a 2 night event because the fact that you got it, if it's two separate events, you got to set aside uh, time on 2 nights. That it might be difficult to put that in people's schedules, and I get it. We have schedules, we have lives, we have jobs, and I get it. And I understand his point of view. I think that for me, as a television event, could I be able to watch it 2 nights in a row? I could, but it would be a struggle. As a live spectator, could I go see both nights? No, no, I don't think I could. I think that after a while, it's like after night one, you know, knowing how I act when I go to wrestling events live, I'd probably have no voice and no energy for the second night. So I understand. I get it. Um, so I totally understand, where we are in terms of that. Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. Um, so in the next few minutes here, again, we'll just remind you guys, Instagram and Twitter at the WrestleBros. TheWrestleBros. We are here on YouTube. We are here at the THE space WrestleBros. WrestleBros. This is Captain Lou here with you. Shout out to my boy Vic Blaze. He's actually, sends his regards. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight, but I'm holding the fort down here and just working through here. I got another couple of minutes. I'll be on here with you guys, and I just want to be able to say, man, keep watching the wrestling. There's gonna be, hey Vic, man, you got a shout out from Gio. He wanted to say what's up. He appreciates what we're doing here. Um, Yo, man, Gio, brother, you rest up, man. Stay well, my brother. God bless you, man. Uh, so for all of us here, I'm going to be, signing off here. Just want to remind you guys, man. Again, go to the videos, watch us. We really appreciate all the love we've been getting from you guys over the last few months. I know that between the end of the year, let's just say before Christmas and now, we have essentially quadrupled, our subscribership. So we're very, very blessed and very happy to have you guys here with us. So this is going to be goodbye for now. This is Captain Lou signing off. We'll see you at the matches. Take care. Bye bye.